and this is something, I mean, there's no way within you sitting in the lobby for literally like a couple minutes.
Unless I memorize the book.
Unless you memorize the book and every photo within the book, you'd have no idea what that is at all.
Unless I did memorize
it. Unless you did memorize it, which that would be impossible.
Yeah,
I mean, for 223 pages, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. My goodness, I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm being introduced. Don't peek into my thoughts now, Jasmeen.
Yeah, I know.
Please.
Ryan probably scared to just think of anything.
Stop scanning here. Stop scanning.
Blah,
blah, blah, blah, blah, blah.
But what is the the reactions you must get from people are just, they're blown away.
It's a very unique form of entertainment. That's the thing, you know. You're probably used to seeing this is just completely different from what most people have ever come across.
Yeah.
And so it just takes them by storm.
And so you perform at corporate parties and other places as well? Like, where can people find you and watch your act?
Like I said, I perform all over parties, everywhere. I've coached individuals on one-on-one basis, improving certain aspects of their mind. And if you want to find more information about me, you can go to my website. It's www.jasveen.ca. You'll find other television, radio interviews, past stuff of mine that I've done, more information about me.
How long have you been able to do this for? Is it since you were young, or, I mean, you just kind of mastered it as you got older?
Yeah, I must have picked this up maybe 7, 8, 10 years ago, maybe like that, yeah.
Can anybody do this? Can any human,
I've always said
anybody do this?
Any 12-year-old child can do this with 10 years of practice.
So 10 years of practice, anybody can really do this?
You caught on to that,
yes, they can. But so you were saying, I mean, going back to the brain, you were saying, you know, most people use 2% of their brain as opposed to the other 98%. Is it a difficult task for people to start using that extra capacity in their brain? Like, I know it takes practice and process. We have about a minute left. Maybe you can talk about how that process works in terms of, you know, expanding the usage of your brain.
So one way to do that is to try not to for example, the next time you get a phone call, instead of just saying hello, try to think of who might be on the other line. That's just one easy practice.
Without using the caller.
And we all have this experiences of this, but we don't actually think about it. We let it happen and we don't even ponder about it. So try the next time, let it ring, and pick it up, and if you get it right, good for you.
But Jasveen, we have, I don't know if you want to stick around for one more segment. We're having such a good time with you. Maybe continue kind of chatting
do one more.
or
do
one
more.
We'll be back here on Daytime after this.
Okay.
Well, like we mentioned, we're still joined by Jasveen. I mean, what an interesting and, of course, wonderful guest to have on the program. But I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. I don't like that feeling of not being able to understand why and how things happen. You were able to literally read Arta's mind and find out like what photo he was looking at without ever looking at this book before.
Now, if you notice what I actually did during then, I kept my fingertips outstretched, something like that, which probably didn't make much sense to you.
No.
You see, a couple of decades back, there was an Indian mystic who traveled to New York, I believe, and he had this extreme claim of being able to see without his eyes. He was known as the man with X-ray eyes. His name was Khuda Baksh. And what he would do is he would have these elaborate demonstrations where he would blindfold himself completely and ride a bicycle on Times Square, New York. And what he would do is he would claim to be able to see from his fingertips, which I don't make any claim of doing, but I like to explore that whole avenue of what he was trying to do. Definitely what he had was, he died, in fact, when he died of glaucoma, which towards the end of his years he couldn't see, which doesn't make much sense if he was the man with X-ray eyes. So I studied him for many years, the techniques of the East that he was employing, and I like to try something. Fingertips. You see, one of the highlights of Khuda Baksh's show was at the end of his show, towards the end, he would bring the lady on stage and he would transfer those powers to her.
Yeah.
As ridiculous as it sounded. And then I like to try something with you. I have my business card here. I'm going to write something on the back of it. So no peeping yet. You can just look the other way. That would be perfect. Yeah?
I'm looking down.
What was the name of the gentleman that you, again, say that?
Khuda Baksh. People at home can, it's K-U-D-A-B-U-X if you're interested. And I'll keep my business card in this envelope so you can actually, no way of peeking at it.
Yeah, should I still be looking down?
Yep, look down.
I'm not looking.
Okay. And you genuinely didn't try to peek at
No,
what I
no,
wrote?
no.
Look back at me. Don't worry. Don't worry about it, okay? That's the idea. Don't think about what I wrote.
No, no, no.
Look at me. Keep your fingertips outstretched towards the envelope. I wrote an alphabet between A to Z. Okay? Let it come to your mind. Just let it come to your mind. You'll feel it traveling up and just pop into your head. Okay? It's not a K or not a A because I didn't want to influence you in that avenue.
Just one letter? You wrote one letter on the
I
back?
wrote a letter between A to Z.
Between A to Z.
Not K, not A, because I didn't want that to be an
okay.
influence.
Okay.
And not that I'm trying to influence you by
Nope.
saying K and A. So let that just
Nope.
travel through your fingertips and try to be able to see it. Is it coming to your head? Say it out. The first one that comes to your head. Something easy. Just
L.
L for London.
L for
L for
London.
London?
Yeah.
Well, you should take a look. Arda, you take a look. I don't want to touch it.
Do you
Pull it
want me
out, pull it out, pull it out, and turn it over.
It was an L. And it's an L.
So weird. That's
And
it's
it's
an
an L.
L. It's an L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Take a
there it
look.
is.
So
That's
how, you felt
so
it. I mean, you
weird.
felt
yeah.
it.
Like it was like the letters. It was an S, and then it went boom, and then it was like L.
So
L. L.
I know what happened. You first thought of like a different alphabet, and you just kept
Yeah.
shuffling, and then boom, you
Boom.
just settled
The
on
L
the
came into my head. Yeah.
How-
That I don't know. I don't know.
I'm curious to know how you would have possibly, because I mean, there could have been any
Anything.
letter
It
of
could
the
have been
alphabet.
B, it could have
I mean,
been
not
D.
K and A, fine, but
Yeah.
there's still 24 letters to choose from. I'm very wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
How do you do that? Like I don't understand. I don't know. How did you master that? It's just
How
the
did-
energy,
How
or
did you master
how
that?
did I master
I mean, that's the
that?
question.
Yeah.
How did you master that?
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
But it's
so,
weird because
yeah.
you were saying like any 12-year-old can learn this, and is something like that a technique? I mean, by no means am I a mind reader or a
No.
mentalist, but I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I want to ask in terms of like what else you do, and if when people, you know, when you come to corporate parties and things like that. One thing you tried with us before you came on the show was cards. So that's one part of the of your entertainment portion as well. But what other things do you do? I mean, you've been using just any sort
That's
of
the thing.
object
That's
here.
the beauty of it. It's not tricky. I'm using everyday items, mugs and pads of papers and pencils, and maybe Kim can tell them what happened off air with the whole bank pin and everything. if you-
Oh my gosh, yeah, we were
But
doing.
don't reveal your bank.
No,
pin,
of course.
you know.
Off air, we were kind of chatting before, chatting and getting to know each other. And he's like, well, I just kind of, need to warm up a bit. I'm like, okay. So we're kind of warming up. He needed to warm up. And he's like, think of, you wrote down a number on it was like the beginning of my bank pin. And you wrote the number down on the piece of paper. And he knew it.
That's impressive.
knew.
That's
He
very
knew what
impressive.
I was
Is there
thinking.
anything
Somewhat
that you
dangerous.
do?
Some
It
people,
is.
Some people get a little scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you possibly know my entire 4-digit pin?
I believe I already do, but that's why I asked you.
That's
once.
that's
You can't
pretty,
help me liable for it.
You know what?
No.
Hide your bank card.
Yeah.
Hide your bank card now.
I was thinking of going to the bank.
Yeah, just all of a sudden the wallet's gone and everything.
you
but,
wount get much.
We have about 3 minutes left. Is there anything that you can try with me, perhaps, going out to break? Is there anything that we can do? Because I want to get involved here. So
In this segment, or
yeah. Well, is there
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
that we can do? Maybe something quick. Anything,
What about
perhaps?
the alphabet, the letter? Maybe you should try the letter.
do you want to try it?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
You know, you seem really tough to read. In fact,
Really? Why is that?
there's just this thing
I
doesn't.
get that from women all the time.
I
Why
would
is
imagine.
that?
Why is that?
That's exactly
Why
why
do
I said
they
that.
always tell me that? Why am I always so tough to read?
I just get that from you. Like generally, I've found it quite tough to read. So
Oh,
Am I very easy to read?
you definitely much easier, much easier.
what does that say? What does
That-
that say about us?
What does that say about us?
What does that say
Funny thing,
about us?
it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say anything. It's just people are different. That's the best thing.
Do
about
I
it.
have more of an open mind, and his is
An
more
open mind is
closed?
definitely important.
I'm more of
An
a
open
one-track
mind.
mind. Is that what you're trying to say?
An open mind is just more receptive to everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you try it with me? We got
So
a
it
couple
makes-
minutes, so let's see if we can.
It
do
makes
this.
me much more easier to, you know, the whole thing with the L thing. If you
Yeah.
go back and watch the tape, that might become much more clear.
I mean, influences that I'm not even thinking about that might kind of persuade
How
me
did
to
the
think
L
of the
pop
L.
into your head?
It just said, my brain was like L. Something shouted out L.
And then you asked L is in London. Were you thinking
Yeah.
of the city?
No,
Or-
you,
No.
you, did, you didn't think
No.
of it
No,
so
no,
that
no,
she
no,
was
no.
thinking of a pure brute force alphabet.
Just
algorithm.
L. Just
yeah.
the letter L and
Yeah.
like 60 fonts just came into your head.
Yeah.
Just boom.
Yeah,
L.
I mean,
yeah.
if you do want
Unbelievable.
to try,
I want to try. We got
Then
2 minutes
obviously
left.
you
Let's see if we
cannot-
can get it. Actually, we have a minute left. Let's see if we could do
I don't
this.
know if we have.
okay,
No,
I'm
we
using the
maybe
same
not.
back of the business card.
Sure,
so
that's fine.
Don't be influenced by the alphabet L.
Okay. So I'm not using an L, an A, or a K.
Let me try this. Just
It might take us out to break, but we can
That's
tell
fine.
them about
No,
it
I'll try
afterwards.
my best here. If you're wrong,
That's
you have,
fine.
you have to get
No
this
problem.
right, in fact.
Okay.
Don't think of anything yet.
Okay, I'm not
Okay.
thinking of anything right now. I'm not thinking of anything. I'm not even looking.
Okay, you're going to grab on
So
for
it's a
that.
letter. I have to think of a letter, not an A, an L, or a K.
A and K, they're fine.
The A and K's are fine. Okay.
I don't think you'll still go for that, though.
Okay.
But let that alphabet just pop
Okay.
into your head and just
Okay.
name it out.
Okay. Right now?
Yep.
I was thinking of W.
Why would you say W?
Because I'm a winner.
So I'm not. Check it out.
And there
And
it is.
there you go,
And
right
there
there,
it
babe.
is.
The W is right there. There it is.
Wow.
We have to go. Thank you so much for coming
you, Jasveen.
Did
in.
you almost think of
Awesome.
an X or Z around there? Maybe?
Kind of. But W was the
We'll
W.
be back after this.